This time last year, I had the opportunity to see Brockhampton during a concert at the Stash in Grand Rapids, Michigan for the small price of $12. The venue is small and held about 100 fans. It was intimate. I stood alongside my roommates Connor and fellow Real Deal member Rob. We got there early enough to stand right up against the stage. It was the best concert of my life, just feet away from performances that brought their tracks from Saturation 1 and 2 to life. After the breakout song Star was played 3 times in a row, the 3 of us were able to meet the members, take pictures with them, and they answered our burning questions. We asked who would feature on the 3rd album of the trilogy that was set to come out just 3 months later. Amir Van appeared as a lone member on the first 2, and we would come to find out he was on the 3rd. And it was then that he solidified himself as Brockhampton's brand. And this June, founding member and fan favorite Amir was hit with allegations from multiple women detailing sexual and emotional abuse. After the initial report, Brockhampton took a few weeks before coming out with their own statement. The silence drew criticism. Then the group kicked Amir out of Brockhampton and apologized for not speaking sooner. This came not long after they signed with record label RCA. Many assumed the label forced the action, but they stated Amir had lied to them about facts and had stood by his side throughout the process. It's no surprise they took a stance, as they have consistently been a beacon of light for social activism. It was on the highlight song Junkie where Matt Champion spit an iconic verse about respecting women. It shined new light on the Me Too movement, speaking from the perspective of someone from the hip-hop community. And it shined new light on the verse after the incident. Brockhampton couldn't let it tarnish their image that they had built up with 3 albums in 1 year, but it hurt the fans and it hurt the members. They spent so much effort placing Amir at the forefront of their image that it was hard to tear it down. It took time healing, and they're still in the process of binding the wounds, and that is what Iridescence is all about. They are changed people, and this is a changed band. Iridescence comes from the Greek root iris. In Greek mythology, Iris is the goddess of rainbows, color, and fertility. On the Iridescence cover, there is a pregnant girl with thermal filter. Brockhampton makes colorful music, always blessing us with their unique sound and experimentation, but they are always looking for the next big thing. After their summer of ups and downs, they were destined for rebirth. Iris is the messenger of the gods, and Brockhampton has produced messages since day one. Iridescence is the phenomenon where a rainbow array of colors is produced when light hits a surface. When the angle of view is changed, the light waves show a gradual change from one hue to the next. When it comes to Brockhampton, the group is in an entirely different place, and in the process of making the album, they have changed day by day, one sound to another, and one era to the next. With Iridescence, the album starts with Matt Champion saying, "Perfectly fine, that's fine," concluding a line, so it is evident there is more to be heard. It is the first of a new trilogy titled The Best Years of Our Lives, so it's exciting to know there will be more to their evolution. Many thought the absence of Amir would impact the group in ways they wouldn't be able to recover. They would compensate with the lack of hard verses by implementing Bareface in places where he didn't fit, but it works. One of the brightest things about this album comes from the implementation of Bareface after his contribution on the Saturation albums, primarily coming with solo crooning over melodic guitar riffs. It shows the group has found progression in their sound, finding success in new ideas. On tracks like New Orleans District and Jauvert, Brockhampton displays a level of intensity and are the standout tracks upon first listen, with hype verses from rappers Don McLennan, Matt Champion, and Merlin Wood. Impressive bridges and choruses from Bareface and Kevin Abstract. And Joba shines the brightest, appearing on all of them with different duties on each. Thug Life, San Marcos, and Tanya provide personal ballads that break down the emotion behind the album, and had such weight when listening for the first time, but have climbed the ladder as my favorites after repeated listens. It's moments on Wait, Loophole, and Honey, where we understand what Brockhampton's success truly means. Kevin feels the weight of the world on his shoulders, the pressure to release top-notch content because of their speedy rise in hip-hop. They have doubts about their real friends in the industry and their reasons for getting into music and why they wanted the fame and fortune in the first place. Where the singers and rappers shine with their words, the production carries them to the end. As a full body of work, it is amazing to hear the transitions between moments and switches within the beats. The work from Ramil, Jabari, Kiko, and Joba fuels the flame to the fire that is Iridescence. Although there are missteps and questionable moments on certain tracks, it stresses the importance of a full listen to the 49-minute album. On Saturation, you could find your favorites from the trilogy and play them back to back in no particular order, but Iridescence does the opposite. You want to listen to the songs where the artist intended to place them. While in London, Brockhampton recorded Iridescence in 10 days at Abbey Road Studios. They add themselves to the exclusive list of artists who composed their work there, including the Beatles, Pink Floyd, and Radiohead. The new album was inspired by Radiohead's Kid A project, which was the band's 4th studio album, and followed the release of OK Computer. They started using synths, drum machines, and orchestras as opposed to a constant guitar sound, prompting an incorporation of other musical genres. The album came after lead singer Tom York suffered a mental breakdown and worried too much about their stagnant pace as a band, with little uniqueness to offer. When it was released, Kid A received mixed reviews, and though many praised it, there were just as many that criticized their newfound sound. However, in retrospect, it is now that critics call it the most groundbreaking rock album of the 21st century. It is all too familiar as Brockhampton released their fourth album as well and had questions entering the new era after the Amir incident, with fans questioning how they would move on and if their sound would just stay the same. The boy band wanted to embark on a journey and show their evolution as changed people. Having been along for the ride since the start, I am proud of them as musicians and as human beings. Iridescence is a colorful, amazing, and honest record. It is a roller coaster of emotions for a group that has had a roller coaster year. Iridescence is a rebirth and a new beginning to an era that I can't wait to experience in full. For The Real Deal, I'm Rob Segovia.